She's in here with us, my friend. We are legion.
The winner is Mercedes Mccambridge.
And here, ladies and gentlemen, is...
We've all heard the horror stories that some actors have gone through in order to truly become a character they portray for the big screen. It's called method acting. And what Mercedes Mccambridge did to portray the voice of Pazuzu is one of the darkest, craziest cases ever. In describing the demon voice, the writer of The Exorcist, William Peter Blatty, used words like coarse and powerful, an oddly guttural tone, a deep, deafening voice, thick with menace and power. Although 12-year-old Linda Blair delivered the dialogue during filming, director William Friedkin knew it had to be dubbed.
You might loosen these straps then. I'm not Reagan. And I'm the devil! Now kindly undo these straps.
And I'm the devil. Now kindly undo these straps.
Ken Nordine, a friend of the director, attempted it first with his background in audio experiments and free association recordings.
And everyone will wonder why.
He altered his voice, but no matter what he tried, it always still sounded like a man's voice coming from a little girl's body and didn't ring true. The split was not amicable. Nordine sued Warner Brothers, and the relationship between Friedkin and Nordine was lost. Friedkin then thought about some of the great female leads of the 1940s with strong, deep voices: Bette Davis, Lauren Bacall, Ida Lupino, Elizabeth Scott, and of course, Mercedes Mccambridge. Orson Welles once dubbed Mccambridge as the greatest radio actress ever, and even made her leader of the gang in his film Touch of Evil. She won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in All the King's Men, and was nominated again for her role in Giant. But how could she possibly create the voice of Pazuzu that William Peter Blatty described in the book? The director would soon find out just how method Melissa Mccambridge was willing to go.
Well, you see,
This is me.
This is me. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me okay? Daddy?
When the pair met, the actress asked the director if he knew anything about her personal life. He had not. She said, quote, "I'm Catholic. I was also in AA and I smoked for 30 years. I have 2 friends who are priests. If I do this, I'll need their advice and counsel at all times. To get the sound you want, I'll have to drink bourbon, smoke, and do other things I haven't done to my body for years. It's not just the sound. You want me to find my inner demon. I'll have to unleash things in myself I've kept hidden for years." And that's exactly what she did. She drank Jack Daniels while smoking cigarettes and consumed 18 raw eggs and a pulpy apple. Her lifelong bronchitis didn't hurt the performance either. Mccambridge also had her arms and legs bound to a chair, supposedly requesting the bonds to be tightened anytime Reagan was meant to be suffering. She worked 10-hour days, an hour or 2 at a time, and then required a break with her priest to comfort her and read scripture. She had a hotel right by the studio because there were days she couldn't drive home herself. Her body and mind were that exhausted. There is no film without her performance.
From this second forward. That isn't hard.
Stunned at what she put herself and allowed me to put her through in order to accomplish this.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
She did the dialogue in 3 different pitches so they can converge them together. They then mixed her voice with the cries of pigs heading to the slaughter, as well as Latin shrieks from a child's real-life exorcism in the Vatican. The overall result of her work is cinematic history. What happened next, though, depends on who you ask. According to William Friedkin, Mccambridge specifically asked the director to not give her screen credit. She wanted all the credit to go to Linda Blair, who gave an outstanding performance. She didn't request credit in her contract, and she would decline credit if she got it. According to the actress, she said something completely different. After The Exorcist premiered on December 26, 1973, Mccambridge confronted the director and said, quote, "You screwed me. How could you do that? Why would you do that to me? You promised me a credit. Where's my screen credit? You lied to me." Friedkin reminded her of the conversation he said had happened and walked away as the actress yelled, quote, "I'm gonna get you for this, Bill Friedkin." Mccambridge's side of the story was leaked to Variety and The Hollywood Reporter. She believed that she didn't get screen credit because Warner Brothers and William Friedkin were pushing for Linda Blair to get the Oscar and therefore did not speak of Mccambridge's efforts. Her lawyers threatened to sue. Warner Brothers decided to redo the last reel of the film and finally give her screen credit. Still heated from the experience, she told the New York Times in January of 1974 about Blair's delivery, quote, "Her vocal performance was laughable. I have nothing against the child. I've never even met her. But if people had heard her saying some of those obscenities, they would have fallen over laughing." Linda Blair was Oscar nominated for Best Supporting Actress, but lost to Tatum O'Neal. It's been suggested she didn't win because her lines were dubbed. It's also been suggested that The Exorcist won only 2 out of their 10 nominations because there was a smear campaign against the film started by Academy members and directors Robert Aldrich, who wanted to direct the movie, and George Cukor, who thought blasphemous horror movies had no place at the Oscars. The Academy members even decided that there would be no Best Special Effects Oscar that year because apparently there was no films worthy of a nomination. In the end, Mercedes Mccambridge earned herself 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, one for television and one for film. Surprisingly, she does not have one for her radio work. Mccambridge went through hell to create a voice so demonic and outright terrifying. She helped make The Exorcist what many consider to be the scariest movie of all time.
Oh my God, it was so terrible. No, it wasn't. Finish your popcorn.
Burns! It burns! Excellent day for an exorcism, girl.